If you are someone who follows the news, you may have seen this and this and this and this. These are reels that show what is happening in Manipur. And what I am about to tell you is a story that will reveal what is the real reason behind all of this violence and will remind us about something that we may have forgotten but is essential in this information age. Okay, so while browsing through the internet, I came across this story written by Greeshma Kuthar. She is an independent journalist who often reports on the violence in Manipur and has written many articles for different websites and reputed websites. The article is about her experience in Manipur, where she was on the streets reporting and what she experienced, which is something that I feel everyone should know. While traveling to Churchandpur, which is in the peripheral region of Imphal, she came across a white car in which there was a person who the mob was trying to beat. They extracted him from the car and beat him up extensively. The mob thought he was a Cookie Zone member. Here's a quick background, okay? So imagine Manipur as mountains everywhere, mountains to the right, mountains to the left, but there is this 10% of the space where majority of the population lives. These people who live in this valley surrounded by mountains are called Metis. They are majority Hindus, but some of them are Muslims as well. Now what they think is logical as well, that they think that okay, we are a majority in this state, but we are confined to this 10% space because they are actually not allowed to buy land on the hills. Then comes the hill people, who are called Kukizo, who are made of around 30 plus tribes, and only they can actually have land on the hills. So these people who are living in the valley want the government to declare them as tribal members as well, so that they can buy land on the hills. And obviously the hill people think that it is unfair on them, because if the valley people get the label of tribes, they will come and grab all the land that the hill people, the Kukizo, have. Okay, so now you know the background of the story, background of what is happening in Manipur, which I am very much sure and certain that it's very much more complicated than what I have told you. But this much information is okayish enough for you to follow the story and what is going to happen in the story. Let's get back to it. Okay, so our journalist, she is there, she's on the road and she's looking at this person who is getting beat up. Okay, so she approaches the police and she says, okay, save this man. The police were not very enthusiastic immediately, but they do eventually go and save this man, who is now hurt. His nose is broken and he's bleeding from everywhere, and he obviously has very visible injuries. She asks him, who is he? Is he the Kukizo person that the mob thinks he is? And he says, no, I am from Assam Rifles. The government also came up front and said that he wasn't a Kukizo member. He was going through the valley after a drug bust. Okay, so then why did the mob beat him up? Why did they think that he was a member of a community that he even wasn't? What Greeshma found out then was not just an isolated incident, but also highlights the pattern in the last 3 years that Manipur is facing. The real reason behind this mob attack was a video that was taken just a few meters away from the incident, where a woman is actually shouting, pointing towards the same white car and saying that there are Kukizo members in that car. This video was enough to fuel the violence, because since a couple of days there was a rumor that was spread and fed to the people that the perpetrators of a bomb blast that recently happened that killed 2 Metis children were being safeguarded by the armed forces deliberately. And if you go back to some of the earlier incidences, for example, remember that video that went viral where 2 women were paraded naked in Manipur? That kind of ignited the situation throughout our nation, and everyone started to kind of, pay attention to Manipur. That incident was also a result of a fake video that was circulated, which had people being killed. And those videos was later revealed were from Myanmar. So coming to why I am telling you this story, look, it's common knowledge in 2026 that fake videos cause bad things. But I do think that we have forgotten the actual implications of spreading fake videos or spreading information that is not verified. Because I see so many people still sending me and sending each other reels that just confirm their bias, or that have no context at all, that have no sources mentioned at all. And sharing that piece of information doesn't feel like it's gonna change anything, but maybe that person who is already very much convinced of something and is on the brink of going extreme can just see that video or piece of information and feel as though taking some kind of an action is the right thing to do. So don't do that. This story reminds us of what misinformation can do if it is not tackled. And how can we do that? Well, the first thing is that we do actually need journalists like Greeshma who go on the streets, on the road, and find out the actual truth behind things. The second thing is that we need massive programs for kids to make them media literate and to make them information literate. And this has to come from the government, this has to come from different organizations where we actually teach kids how to process information that they consume online, and how there are patterns that somehow even the most intelligent person can miss and can't understand, and can maybe think of a few things that are just not true but sound really true. Media literacy is nothing but a skill to access, analyze, and act on a piece of information that we receive online or through other media channels, which many times is stripped of context. And it's never about one video or one movie or one ad. It's always about a cumulative effect of what we consume, whether it is content or whether we are part of some conversations, and then there's just one thing that kind of confirms whatever we feel, and then we feel as though our opinions are correct. It can start with friends, social media, relatives, and then we watch a movie, and then we watch a reel, and then we read some news article, and without even verifying whether whatever we are consuming is true, we start to believe in certain things. Anyways, of course, I'm not saying that whatever is happening in Manipur is just because of fake videos. There are obviously different things at play, different political things at play. But my thing was that you should see how people in power or how people with an agenda use media and use information to misguide a number of people or to misguide an entire community for a long time. So here are some information/media literacy pointers. Always look at the context, always look at the source, and always look at who is going to benefit from this information. So thank you so much for watching this video and clicking on this video and watching till the end. I hope you got something out of it, and I am going to come up with more such videos. So stay tuned and we will meet until next time.